All right, today's lesson is going to be from Chapter 2, Lesson 8, and we're talking about estimating products. So remember, an estimate is about the answer, it's close to the answer, and a product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So we're going to write Chapter 2, which was multiply whole numbers. And our lesson is number 8. So lesson 8, estimate products. Okay. So today what we want to talk about, our vocabulary is going to be focused around compatible numbers. So a compatible numbers, there needs to be more than one, are numbers that would be really easy for you to work with, really easy for you to find the answer mentally. Okay, so let's write that in our books. So compatible numbers. All right, and those are simply just numbers that are easy to work with mentally. Okay, they're easy to use together in your head. All right, so let's go ahead and come on over here. So let's look at our example. Our first example here says 92 times 12. Well, the way that you would want to start this is you want to think of numbers that are close to 92 and close to 12 that are really easy to work with. Now, anytime I see something like 12, I think, wow, that is really, really close to 10. So I'm going to change that 12 into 10. Okay, so now if I have this problem 92 times 10, I can do this really fast in my head. I don't even need to change 92 into a different number. 92 can stay that way because I know the power of 10 says anything times 10 means I just put that down and I add a 10 to it. So 1 times 92 is 92 with that extra 0 from the 10. And that's it. Not super duper hard, right? Let's look at a couple more. This one will actually take from the back of your paper. So 32 times 18. But let's put that in our book so that we have our example here. When we have our notes and we use our test, we'll have it. So it was 32, let's confirm. 32 times 18. Now, sometimes you're going to need to change both of the numbers in order to make it easy. And sometimes you're not going to have to change both of the numbers to make them easy. So let's look at these numbers. I'm going to put these arrows over here so I can show this is what I'm starting with. My arrows show this is what I'm going to end up with. We'll do our problem over here. 32 and 18, and I think neither one of those are very easy to work with. So I'm going to change 32 into the closest 10. So 32's closest 10 would be 30. And then 18, again, is not very easy to work with. If I did 30 times 18, that would be hard. I couldn't do that mentally very easily. So what I'm going to do is change 18 into the nearest 10 too. So what's the nearest 10 to 18? Well, it's 20. Okay, now I have to finish the problem. So I have 30 times 20. Well, gosh, this is actually going to be a lot easier than you might think. So I know powers of 10 just say to add those zeros on. So I'm going to ignore those 2 zeros right now. And I know that 3 times 2 is 6. But I can't ignore those 2 zeros forever. So I'll add those 2 zeros back on. And my answer is about 600. Now, I should have told you this before, so I'll tell you now. Put these little heat wave things next to a problem that's estimation, because we want to make sure that we know that this is not an exact answer. This is a close to answer. This is an estimate. All right, let's try one more. This one is also from your book, from the guided practice. So we'll write that one down. So it's 98 times 83. And remember, you don't have to change both of your numbers. You can just change one if you'd rather just change one. So again, I'm going to put these arrows here because it's easy for me to see this is where I started. this is where I'm going, okay? So if I see 98 times 83, I want to make this as easy as I possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and change that 98 into the closest 10, which is 100. Okay, now I got to figure out what I want to do with this 83. But actually, if you have an 83, wow, you're timesing it by 100. I don't need to change that 83. So I'll go ahead and just leave that the way it is. Now, I know power of 10 says that I can do 83 times 1, which gives me 83. And then I go back and I remember that I have these 2 zeros, so I add my 2 zeros on. So my answer is about 8,300. Right? So now that you've looked at that, let's go ahead and go into your work paper for today. Today you're doing pages 127 and 128. So let's pick a couple random ones to do. All right, so we're going to number up here at the top, we're estimating by rounding, and then we're going to show how we estimate it. So we'll go ahead and just take number 4, just the random number. So again, I like to put the arrows. You don't have to. It just, again, it helps me. You could do your work down here at the bottom if you wanted. So I'm going to look at 68. What's the closest 10 to 68? Well, it's 70. And then I have to decide, do I want to keep 7 the same, or do I want to change 7? Well, in this case, I'm going to keep it as a 7 because compatible numbers, 7 and 7 are very easy compatible numbers for me. I know that 7 times 7 is 49. And then I drop that 0 down. So my answer is about 490. And when it says show how you estimated, this is what it means. Okay, so you're going to first show the number that you rounded it to. And then if you didn't round, you still would write the number down. And then you show what your answer was. Okay, let's move on to the hard one. That's kind of hard. We'll try number 9. So we're going to estimate by using compatible numbers and show how you estimated. So pretty much the same thing, but we're looking for numbers that work really well together, right? So here we go. We have 106 times 52. Well, again, I know that if I have something close to 100, I sure would rather keep it as close to 100 as possible. But gosh, 106 is closer to 110. So I'm going to go ahead and make 110 be the number there. And then you have 52. Well, I want something that's going to work really well with 11 because remember power of 10, I can skip this 0 right here. So I want something I can multiply with 11. And 52 is it's a really awfully close to 50, isn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and do this, 110 by 50. So now I can ignore these 2 zeros for now. In fact, I can go ahead and add them onto the end of my problem if I want. So now I'm just set with 11 times 5. Well, if you know your math facts, which you should, it's 5,500 because 11 times 5 is 55. Okay, and again, heat waves. See how they put the heat waves down here too? All right, so this is what you are doing today. You can estimate things in different ways. So some of you might have different answers if you're comparing to your friends. You might have different answers. For example, for number 10, some of you might change this 10 or the 6 into 10, or some of you might keep it a 6. It doesn't matter. You're not going to all get the same answers when you're doing this. You might get a little bit of different answers, but they should be close at least. Check in if you need help.